everybody, and welcome back to the TB&J podcast. That's right, I'm taking over this month. It's Pride Month. I win. Across from me is Jeff Ackerman.
As a straight white man, yup, I'm just gonna take it.
That's right. This month we're in charge. We're fucking knocking the straights fucking down a peg.
Is this the gay agenda that I
sit
keep
over there?
hearing
Shut
about
up!
on
Shut
Fox
up!
News?
Shut up! Straighty.
Whoa! Is that a slur?
It is now.
I don't know. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and that's also if you're listening to this and you're straight, click it off.
Whoa! No!
Click it off. don't even listen.
Shut up! Don't
This is
listen
for
to
the
Troy.
gays.
No, fuck you, man. Star Wars Acolyte. God damn it.
TB&J! TB&J!
I'm gonna fucking kill you when this is done.
Yeah, I'm untouchable until the first.
TB&J!
July 1st can't come quick enough. All right, Troy. Star Wars. Is it The Acolyte or just Acolyte?
I believe it's The Acolyte.
I want to say you're correct as well. The Acolyte has come out on Disney Plus. Okay. The first 2 episodes came out last week. That's right, we're a week behind in typical TB&J fashion.
I believe the 3rd episode comes out tonight.
It
but
sure
we're
does.
Not staying up that night.
It sure does.
We don't want to record at midnight. So.
No, we do not. Troy, the first 2 episodes, are we thumbs upping or thumbs downing?
Oh boy,
How are we feeling?
I have been thinking about this legitimately all day.
I gotta say,
It's one of the most thumb sideways shows we've ever done.
I don't know how I feel about it personally.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing: it's pretty well done. Like, I have no complaints with how it's shot. I have no complaints with the cast of characters. Yet,
Well, here that's too much nuance already. I think I'm gonna say thumbs up.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. Personally, I'm thumbs up.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. As long as I don't think about certain things too hard.
Sure.
And I have to keep reminding myself, like, we are in the era of the High Republic. This is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. And it's very much, the Jedi are very high and mighty, full of themselves. You know, nobody knows better than us. We're doing our thing. Fine. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the way they run an investigation is not great at all. And I do not like it. I mean, fucking the minute you find out Soul is the one who saved fucking what's her name? I know this, Osha, as a child and trained her. It's like, great, you're too close to this. You're on the bench. That's what would happen in any real life police case.
Mm-hmm.
Not what's happening here, apparently. Thankfully for our protagonist, Osha, she's actually innocent. She didn't do the things that they're claiming she did. And it's actually her twin sister, which
Right. So the setup to this is basically it's kind of a Star Wars murder mystery, but not really because
it's
they
a
kind of
murder mystery for like half an episode before they're like, oh, she did it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of finding out why and tracking her down and bringing her to justice. And it's definitely gonna end like every fucking Star Wars thing does, with some sort of a reach out to the bad person. Mm-hmm. They have a redemption of some sort. They sacrifice themselves for the greater good, kind of a thing. I'm fully expecting that to happen. I just don't. I love every like individual scene that's happening. I'm not a big fan of like the overarching story that's tying this all together.
Sure.
I find it a little weird and not very coherent, maybe. And I also like I don't. It's tough because they're inserting these dark Force users into past lore, and if there's one thing Star Wars is really good on, it's keeping the lore straight.
Sure.
And the canon and the timelines and all that. No, spoiler alert. No, they never fucking do that. And I'm fine with you inserting bad guys into the past, but like I don't understand this one at all. And I guess that's the point right now. We're only a couple episodes in.
Well,
is it a
they're
10-episode
also
series?
I don't know.
I
off the
say
top of my head.
series, at least season 1.
Right.
It's 8. I apologize.
8? Okay.
8 episodes.
I will say Star Wars is really good at doing this thing in the last couple of years now, where they give a cool Force user a lightsaber, and you're like, but I thought like the rule of 2, and they didn't exist in this period of time, and blah 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 blah. And somebody goes, oh no, Kylo Ren actually not a Sith. Asajj Ventress not a Sith either. This person was Darth Maul was a Sith, now he's not. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
what functionally is the difference from the Grand Inquisitor and him being a Sith? Like, what's the real difference?
Does anybody like really fucking know anymore? Like, it's so.
There's somebody who does, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan and know enough dumb shit, and like I don't really know the answer. And somebody will be like, "Oh, that means you're not a real Star Wars fan." Yeah, I wouldn't. It's actually quite simple. I don't care. It's not really. It's not really that big of a deal.
I mean, that's totally fine, and that's a valid answer. Star Wars is one of those things where I feel so conflicted because I always want them to be like, I always want to tell the people in charge, like fucking, if I ever had like Kathleen Kennedy and Feige like in a room, not Feige, who am I thinking of?
I mean, no, Kevin Feige would be good.
is
You're
Feige-
thinking Dave Filoni, though.
Filoni, thank you.
Yeah,
Feige's the
but
Marvel guy.
yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah. Feige is, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
I was thinking Favreau.
if I had them in a room, I'd be like, hey, there is an entire fucking galaxy that you have created full of planets and creatures and weapons and factions. Tell other stories. Not everyone needs to be a Skywalker.
But that's what this is the problem.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
that's the
this-
thing. That's what this is. They went and told a different story. Other people. No one's a Skywalker yet. And I don't know how I feel about it. I know that I'm going back and forth and I'm saying positives and negatives. It's because I genuinely do not know how to feel about
It's
this.
literally how I felt watching this scene to scene.
Yeah. Like the opening sequence where May is fighting that Jedi Master.
Carrie Ann Moss. I don't know her real name and her name in the show, but
That's the actress?
yeah.
Oh, that's really Carrie Ann Moss?
Yeah, it's Trinity.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's who that
why
is.
she looked familiar.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. Indara.
Yep.
Yeah. Like when you know what? I the whole time they were doing like the kung fu with the Force, I was like, this reminds me of something. I just couldn't put my finger on
It's
it.
The Matrix.
But with her being Trinity, now it all like pieces together. I love that. But I just
Are you aware that the main Jedi guy, I forget his name, that they're going around with, her old master is
Soul.
He's the guy from Squid Game,
I did know that.
and apparently he learned English like for this.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Lee Jung-jae is his name, and I recognized him immediately from Squid Game, and I was like, no fucking way, that's awesome. He's fucking amazing. And that's the thing, every actor in this show is doing a really
He's
good
probably
job.
the one that I like the most. Right
Charlie Barnett is the guy playing Yord Fandar, the younger
yeah.
Jedi Knight. Fucking Soul and Soul's apprentice walking into the ship, and Yord is just like fucking shirtless
And
with his rippling muscles, just like cleaning his cloak.
Soul's apprentice is also Daphne Keane from Logan, who is
Yep.
X-23.
Yep. I recognized her immediately as well.
It's like a
Jackie is her
it's
name
a
in the
good
show.
cast, but other than Carrie Ann Moss, it's not people who are like so big that they can't be just a Star Wars character.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
it's not Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu, where you're like, well, that's Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. They're not pulling one of those on us, or Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. Although maybe in '99 or whenever that, I think it was '99, right? 99.
Yeah. Phantom Menace is 99.
Yeah, '99. Maybe he wasn't like the Liam Neeson we know today from like every fucking action movie and all sorts of crazy things.
He was in there. I mean, his real this is Liam Neeson now was even past that into Taken, probably.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's not true because he was in a bunch of stuff before. He's been an actor forever, so it's hard to say. He had
Also,
got like
the
a
other
second
problem-
life with Taken.
The other problem with Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor is that
Is that he pees his pants?
No, that's not at all true. Why are you putting false rumors out there
I don't
about
know.
these awesome
I've
gentlemen?
seen the pictures.
What pictures? What are you talking about?
The Liam Neeson pants thing is potentially real.
Oh my god! Shut up! I don't care. Even if it is, I don't care. I don't want it to be real.
I'm just doing jokes.
Yeah, well, fuck off. The two of them being from the UK, All right, they might have been a lot bigger over there, and they just weren't bigger here.
Also true.
Like UK television shows.
Yeah, he's
stage.
Rob Roy and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like fucking Ewan McGregor was huge in Moulin Rouge, which like didn't do super well in the States, but did really well internationally.
I mean, Ewan McGregor. If out of the two of them, Ewan McGregor is big because of Star Wars. If Liam Neeson's on the fence.
Yeah, Liam Neeson's done a lot of other things as well. He's made a particularly big name for himself outside of Qui-Gon, where it's like Qui-Gon is like the second or third role you may mention. But Ewan McGregor, like number one, is probably still Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sure.
Or, being married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Who's also in Star Wars.
Who is also in Star Wars. And Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
Who is also in Star Wars.
Every cringe boy's like first crush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's amazing. But anyway, back to my original point.
You can say John Fitzwater, by the way.
Well, also me. So like, I didn't want to put myself under the bus. But yeah, sure, thanks. Any fucking way. The first opening fight with Indara and May was, I thought, pretty well done. You got Indara doing this like kind of passive kung fu where she's really just dodging and countering. She's not really fighting because she's not really sure what May is doing there. I think what we don't know yet in this fight is that she thinks May is Osha. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing or why you're coming after me. This is bizarre.
Sure.
As far as we know, at the end of episode 2, the only real people that knew of May's existence were like Soul and I guess the other ones that were there that she's trying to kill, the Wookiee guy, Torben and Indara. Maybe they knew about May, but I don't know if they knew May. Regardless, that's not the point. It's really well shot. It's really well done. I enjoyed the fight choreography and all of that.
No, this is definitely the most like feudal Japan kung fu inspired.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Which is cool, and Star Wars
is what I want.
Yeah, and Star Wars is usually the best when it leans really into like pretty overtly doing the inspiration.
Yeah. That's probably why New Hope is considered like one of the best fucking Star Wars movies ever, because it just heavily leaned into like every stereotype and trope.
It's Flash Gordon, it's Seven Samurai, it's blah 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 blah.
Exactly. It's even fucking playing on people's like history books a little bit, because you got the stormtroopers coming out with their named after and helmets reminiscent of the Nazis.
Right.
Vader's helmet is literally like a Nazi officer's helmet. It's just like, oh look, the one thing in the world we used to be able to agree on as the bad guys, the Nazis. They're the bad guys, and then we have Farm Boy, Good Boy. All right, let's go. Movie. And it was great. Everyone loved it. I'm enjoying every scene of this show so far. I just don't know how I feel about the overarching plot. I feel like they need to do a lot more heavy lifting to really draw me in later on. I will say super big props off to Amanda Stenberg, who is playing both Osha and May. Like, doing both of those characters as one actress is probably really fucking tiring, and it takes a lot of fucking talent to do that. And she actually does manage to do it pretty well. Those two characters do feel like distinct personalities.
And you know what's crazy?
People.
When they do shots of both of them as adults, because I know that when they're younger it is two different people. But when they're adults, they do look like they look more like twins than they look like the same person. Like they do have like kind of like she's doing something with her face, and I don't know if I'm just imagining that or.
Yeah, no, you might be or you might not be, because I also kind of saw it the same way. But it was really, really fucking good, and I'm enjoying that as well. Also, here's a fun fact: she's years younger than us, bud.
Mm-hmm.
October 23rd, 98.
Yeah, but
Jesus Christ,
does she have a podcast?
Probably. No, you know what? She's probably get asked to be a guest on them and late night talk shows.
Shit.
She probably knows Jimmy Kimmel, man.
Damn it.
And Colbert and Seth Meyers, maybe. Fucking shit, man. Anyway, that's not really relevant right now. Troy, how are you feeling so far about the Jedi? Because I know you particularly, out of all of my friends that really enjoy Star Wars, you seem to have like the most fondness for the High Republic era.
I mean, so High Republic's fairly new.
It's a newer like exploration of like where it's gone to, but like we've always kind of had like the High Republic and like the clouds.
Yeah, we had like Old Republic, which is even before this.
Yeah,
and may or may not is dubious canon at least.
Yeah, it is kind of up in the air whether or not anything that exists there.
I mean,
is real
eventually
anymore.
old canon stuff's gonna trickle in. It's
I mean, fuck yeah. Look, fucking Kylo Ren exists, man. Ben Solo being a bad guy. That was in the books.
no,
years ago.
I'm talking about Old Republic before this even.
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you mean, but I'm
yeah.
saying like the book stuff is trickling in.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Eventually, all the stuff that's not total garbage will, and there's a lot of stuff that was garbage.
Oh,
will
for
trickle.
sure.
People, Star Wars fans forget that there's a lot of bad extended universe more than there was good.
I mean, do they forget? I don't know, man.
I think that there's a certain amount of fans that have forgotten.
Yeah, that might be true. But yeah, I definitely see your point. It's very uncharted territory.
Yeah,
but the problem with this is the same problem Halo had with Reach and a lot of other things have and like the movie Titanic even. Like, you know how it all ends ultimately.
Sure.
So you have to just keep going further back until it's like, well, none of this is going to be relevant by the time Phantom Menace comes around. All these people will have already died of old age or murder or
right,
natural
but
causes.
this is far enough back though where it doesn't seem too like annoying about it. Like, it's not like it's not like the year before Phantom Menace.
You think we're going to get Yoda?
I think almost absolutely. He's in the books and stuff for High Republic. He'd
Sure.
be around this
and
time.
he dies in 5? No,
Yep.
6. At,
Yep, 6.
What was he, 900?
Yep, 900.
Yeah, so he's definitely around right now.
When 900 years old,
you
good?
Look
You
so
folks?
good. You will not. But yeah, so Yoda's gonna be around. So it's because I already saw that meme going around, like all the shitty like circle jerk subreddits of like the Reaper knocking on doors, killing people, and it was like it murdered like Obi-Wan and Princess Leia and all this, and then it's like knocking on Yoda's door next, and it was like Kathleen Kennedy's face on the Reaper, and I'm like, you need to fucking get a life, Reddit. Come on now.
We've also like early prequel Yoda wasn't that great anyway. Like, we've already had sort of like Yoda not super done.
No, yeah,
great.
exactly. Like fucking, and don't get me wrong, Yoda's great, but like, come on now. I mean, fucking, I am one of these people sometimes, but I also hate these people of like, give me more Star Wars, and then you give them more Star Wars, and they're like, no, not like that.
Sure.
It's like, well, come on, fucking, what do you want then?
No, so there's a phenomenon that happens on this podcast a lot where you and I will be sitting here and we'll be enjoying a thing like Ahsoka or Obi-Wan, and then our boomer ass co-host will fucking stumble his way in and be like, "Have you guys thought about this?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, it does suck, huh?"
You know what's funny? We're in the same generation, bud.
Yeah, but
he's also a millennial.
Yeah, but think about it. Is he though?
You're right. I'm so sorry. D is definitely a boomer.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
He's 74.
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
And everybody at home, just keep that as a mental note and write that down. And if he says otherwise, he's lying.
Troy's views do not reflect the opinions of the podcast. They are his and his alone.
But it is true. They are true.
What's your fucking point, man?
But like, I don't want it to seem like we're ever like just sucking the dick of Star Wars.
Oh no! Like
there's stinkers in Star Wars, and a lot of them have come in the recent years, and I'm not here to dispute that.
No, we were even pretty harsh on Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
like we enjoyed it, but like all the Leia scenes were garbage. But it's because the actress is like 4.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
Yeah, a lot of them. We never did the Ahsoka ending, but
we didn't.
No, we never did the finale.
Man, I'm so sorry. This podcast sucks when I'm not medicated. God damn, we fucking fell off hard of so many things.
But like, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff where it's all pretty good and pretty fun, and then the last episode happens, you're like, it was a little wet, like a little bit of a wet fart.
A little, yeah. That last episode was a little wet.
It was a little wet, a little soggy, just
a little soggy, just. It's like a wet piece of sandwich just falling.
It was supposed to be a little bit of a wet fart, but didn't come out as that. I forgot a word.
You stumbled over your sentence a little bit, and it was just a little wet. Just a little wet.
A little wet.
Just a little wet.
Soggy even.
I hate you so much.
But this is... I'm wondering how this is going to go. Unfortunately for you, the best thing they've done so far is Andor.
Which I will not watch.
Which is also not Skywalker adjacent and is
Yeah.
exact everything that you want. but
Although
also-
it is Cassian Andor adjacent, and I fucking hate him. Fucking hate him.
I'm
Terrible character.
I'm just letting you know that you're doing this to yourself.
Terrible character in Rogue One.
As long as we agree you're doing it to yourself. But this has the potential to get better. It also has
We're 2 episodes into an 8-episode season.
Yeah.
Potentially series,
Mhm.
depending on what they do with it, or if it's gonna get a 2 or a 3. It's another Star Wars show.
yeah,
It has the potential to be great. Let's see what they do with it. Mando was really fucking good. One of my favorite
Sure.
Star Wars things to come out in a very long time.
Season 3 is a little wet.
Season 3 is a little wet. Even though
It's a lot of desert.
little lot of desert, still wet.
Yeah,
still
wet.
wet. Still pretty wet.
Yeah, wet desert. Wet ass desert.
Wet ass desert. Grab a mop but no.
Wad.
Oh God. I know it's Pride Month, man, but come on. Not everything needs to give into your sexual agenda.
Disagree. But
You're just full chaos mode this
I
Pride
am.
Month, huh?
I am. But my biggest problem with the show so far is every scene cuts a little too early, I think. If the first episode, especially the first episode, because I think the second episode, if the first episode was a little bit better, would be fine as is. First
Episode on its own is really good.
Sure, but I think the first episode, instead of being, I think it's like 40-something minutes.
43.
If it was like maybe 50 minutes to an hour, and they just did all the same stuff, but every scene just extended a little bit longer, and like when she crashes on the planet, on the ice planet, when she lands on your Baldur's Gate 3 companion Karlak, when it fucked me up the entire time. Every time they said Karlak, I was like, she's in this show?
I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. You like sports and women. But
Yeah, sure, bud.
no, but if she went around and kind of stumbled around that planet for a while before getting rescued, and kind of like you sort of saw like her go through some of her past a little bit. If we hung out in the Jedi Temple a little bit longer and saw what's his name, Soul? If he sort of like you got sort of into his emotions and his past a little bit more and how he interacts with the temple. Like if you just stretched out everything just a little bit longer, not overstaying its welcome or anything.
Sure.
But sometimes I'm like, okay, we're starting to get character stuff, and they cut. And I go, okay. And it's like we're on to the next thing. And
yeah, the show is very fast-paced, and whenever there's like planetary travel, it's always like, oh, we're there now.
yeah.
Which
and it's hard to get
It's crazy.
I think that these characters are cool conceptually. I feel like we haven't gotten into any meat of them really.
Yeah, we kind of have like stereotypes a little.
Yeah.
Like Soul is like the wise master who does no more and kind of looks past and looks for the good in people. You've got Yord, who's like the strong knight who's trying to prove himself. The Padawan who is trying to prove that she's the smartest person in the room.
When she walks on the ship and she's like, oh, well, we're taking Yord, and then she gets on, she's like, Yord, put your shirt on. I'm kind of like, okay. But, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't deserved.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do anything for me. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you're
a funny
trying-
scene and, like, with a little bit more context.
You know what it felt like, honestly? It felt like the biggest fallacy I have with the prequels of telling me and not showing me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can tell me, Yord is, Yord. It's like, great, what does that mean? You've done nothing to really, like, make that statement mean anything or make me laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, that's what I feel like I was supposed to do there. And I just don't want to do that right now. You could have just given me a little bit more of Yord, like, talking with Osha when he goes and interrogates her in the beginning. Or maybe a little bit of Yord by himself before that, or something. You could have done a little bit more to make me understand what that comment meant, but you didn't. And instead, you had that delivery by the Padawan, and it meant nothing to me.
And we only need, like, a little bit more. But it's unfortunately a little bit more.
I'm not asking for the man to get his own fucking backstory episode
Right.
in the middle of episode 1. But like, you
no,
know,
every
if,
character should get a spin-off show that leads into this show.
if you're gonna have a character roll their eyes about bringing him along on a mission, you know, I want to know why, and I don't know why.
And it can be afterwards too. It can be afterwards,
Sure.
where you're like, his introduction can be, oh, we're eye rolling at this guy, and you're like, oh, I wonder why, and then the rest of it can show you why.
Yeah,
And I don't feel like we've really been shown why too much.
So like my initial interpretation was like, Yord is Yord, and then you see him and he's shirtless, washing his clothes on the ship. He's immediately embarrassed. He bows to Soul, and then it's like, oh, is that what she meant? Like, he takes his shirt off?
I was kind of like, is he a dumbass?
Or or is he just stupid? But then, like,
are they taking Kronk on this adventure?
But then shut the fuck up. But then for the rest of the first episode and the second episode, all he's done is prove that he's like a valuable asset to the team, and he's just like eager to prove himself.
He's like a little gung ho, but like not.
Yeah, he's eager to prove himself, but he's like not a fucking idiot. So like, why the eye roll? You've not done anything to justify that comment you made. It feels, and I know that that's like a throwaway thing that we're nitpicking, but
Sure.
like that's more of a symptom of the general problem of them trying to like make us feel at home with these characters too quickly.
Right.
And
It's
it
an
doesn't feel
example.
deserved.
It's an example of kind of what they're doing with everybody a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, we're just immediately supposed to sympathize with Soul and understand exactly who he is, even though he's had like 40 lines of dialogue at this point, and nothing really happens much.
I actually think the character who I've been able to read into the most and like trying to extract a little bit out is May.
Oh yeah,
and I even kind of like every time she confronts a different Jedi, she strikes a little pose, and she has like a little catchphrase, and both times she's done it so far, she sucks. Like at it, she immediately, like the first time she gets laughed at, and then the second time she just starts trying to wail on this guy who's like, he takes like a vow of silence or something like that. And
Torben.
Yeah,
I don't know about a vow of silence or whatever, but yeah, he's been meditating for like 10 years.
Right.
He doesn't talk to anybody.
But she can't do anything to him, and then has to just kind of like fuck off. Like both times she says that, she's like embarrassed. I feel like you could build that up to a cool scene where her and Osha, or her and Soul, look across from each other, and she says, "We have unfinished business," strikes into a pose, and for some reason that time when she says it, you're like, oh, like it's real this time. And that would be, if we can get to that point, it's a good show. If we don't get to that point, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad show, but it might be a lame show.
Just to clarify, Torben's thingy, it's called the Bearish Vow. I may be mispronouncing that. It's an oath taken by Jedi who completely refrain from all activities related to the Jedi Order as a form of penitence, disengaging from anything but the Force itself and committing themselves to gain ultimate communion with it. Jedi Master Barish Sylvain originated the practice, and the vow was named after her. Although most Jedi who swore the vow did so as a method of atonement, some did it in order to refocus themselves to the Force. So there you have it.
Yeah.
And that kind of plays into what she was talking about how, you know, you can't ever atone for what you did. Only death can do that. Let me give it to you. And then she gives him the poison. And that makes him speak for the first time in 10 years. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm very sorry. Die. Just
right.
Glug, glug, glug.
And again, on a rewatch, if they do it right, that can be a cool scene in hindsight.
It really can. And I did enjoy it. I was like, wow, that's actually really powerful that she was able to talk to this man and convince him that death was the only way to repay for what he's done. Like, holy shit, what has he done? I'm now invested. I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe May's act of killing all these masters is kind of righteous, and she's got a point to prove. Which would suck, because that means that Soul is a bad guy, and I really like Soul. I don't want Mr. Squid Game to be a bad guy, but, like, you know, if he's gotta be, maybe.
Dude, I've also heard so many takes where people have, like, posted YouTube videos or comments where they're just like, oh, so what, Jedis are bad cops now? And it's like,
they've always been bad
man.
cops.
Yeah. That's
always.
That's like the whole point of Luke Skywalker is he's like, some of this stuff's dumb and we shouldn't be cops. Like,
yeah.
And then, like, what if we made a new one that's better?
I don't understand. They've always been like terrible cops.
That's the whole point of the prequels. The prequels that all the people who say that probably love. Like
yeah.
They're cops and soldiers, and you're like, wait a minute, they're not doing the thing that they said that they want to do.
They're keepers of the peace. That's all they do. They meditate on the Force.
Remember when they went to that swamp and Yoda was like, yeah, we fucked up bad and we didn't run that order right? It's because they were cops and soldiers.
Yeah. Wait, Troy, are you saying cops are bad?
I wouldn't say that. I love our boys in blue. And and that is the official stance of the TB&J podcast.
It is not. Fuck you. A-cab all the way, motherfucker. I bought a pin for my battle jacket that I wear to concerts that says, if cats could talk to cops, they wouldn't. And it made me laugh really hard when I saw it. Yeah, fuck cops. If you are a cop, you listen to this podcast, sorry, not sorry. God, we got off on a tangent. Why do you always do this to me, man? I have severe ADHD. You can't just do this, man. What do you got any predictions for what's gonna drop tonight at 9:00? Also, fuck you, Disney, for dropping like a 45-minute show at 9 p.m. It's a streaming service,
Eastern
all right?
Standard Time.
No. It's a fucking streaming service.
True.
You can drop it now. You could have dropped it at midnight so that I could have watched it before work this morning or when I got home. But instead, you drop it at 9? Bitch, who do you think we are? We are millennials. We are in bed by like 10 o'clock now, all right? Some of us have to wake up in the morning. Some of us have taxes, all right? Fuck you, Disney.
That's the official stance of the TB&J podcast. Fuck Disney. We will watch the rest of the show.
Disney, you can pay me to reverse my stance.
We will take money for better opinions on your show.
Absolutely. I have no morals.
We'll sell out immediately.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't sell out in this day and age, you're a fucking idiot. Sell out as soon as you get the chance for as much as you can, and then take the money and run. Be gone. Yeah.
So I want to get into positives a little bit because
Oh my god. We need D here, man. He's the one who keeps us grounded.
I think we're doing fine.
All right.
But I want to get into positives a little bit because I feel like we're only talking about how it's kind of unfocused and not good, which is sort of the crux of our entire opinion. But all the kung fu sort of fight scene stuff is really, really good. I really liked sort of the ending of 2 where they all surround May and start trying to basically apprehend her. That scene in general is cool. I kind of thought they were gonna kill Soul early, and I thought that would be a huge mistake, and they didn't. I think leaving him for the end of the show is definitely the best, whether or not he lives or dies. And I thought that I would hate this character. I was kind of digging the fake apothecary poison guy.
Oh yeah.
He
seems like your kind of type. He's like a scum and villainy kind of guy.
Yeah, but he's like teetering on the edge of annoying, and he just barely hit the sweet spot where I thought he wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Like as soon as the Jedi show up and like flex a muscle, he's like, "Oh, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You want May? She's gonna be here tonight. You know, come on back. She'll be here."
I did think for 2 seconds it was Ezra Miller and thought I would hate him.
Oh no! Why would you think that?
They just look similar.
They do?
There's something about at least when he first got up, I was like, maybe I'm just an idiot.
He looks nothing like it, actually. Not even a little. Well, yeah, a little in this picture. Yeah, not Ezra Miller though. But like, you know, if you're stupid, I could see how you might confuse.
I am stupid, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it? All right.
Yeah, there's also.
Oh my god.
What?
Sorry, I just saw like the reviews for the Acolyte. They are all over the place.
Can you look at the Rotten Tomatoes audience and tomato meter? It's interesting. I've seen them.
I will. So for the people playing along at home, Google reviews have this at a 1.8 after 5,320 ratings. IMDb has it as a 4.3 out of 10. To Rotten Tomatoes has it at an 85% on the tomato meter with critics and a 25% audience score.
Mm-hmm.
Woof.
Yeah,
Woof.
it is all over the place. There's a lot of people who love this show. There's a lot of people who hate this show. There's a lot of people who hate this show for the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of people who think that this show would be a lot better if it didn't have as many people of color in it.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of people wwho are vocal about it.
Oh, no.
This is like one of the most and again, we just spent 45 minutes shitting on the show.
How do you rate something on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. It's kind of an enigma.
I'm very curious. Because, like, I can't find a way to rate it. I'm sorry, continue.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that it's one of the most blatant, and I'm not saying that if you don't like this show, you're like racist and sexist or whatever, because I'm not really sure that I like the show. I'm on the fence.
Sure.
And I think that the real spot of this show is somewhere in the middle of those two reviews you just read for Rotten Tomatoes.
All right, this is unfair. The fucking Acolyte is sitting at a 25. The Book of Boba Fett is at a 52 audience score.
Mm-hmm. There's
no way Boba Fett is going to end up being better than this.
Yeah, I agree. I'll agree with you there.
There's no fucking way. Is it just because our protag is a woman of color?
It's that Soul's a Korean man.
So what? It's a fucking galaxy.
Hey man, I agree with you.
The first movie had 3 white people as the stars. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, those were
you know how
the
many
good
movies
old
we've
days.
had since then?
Those were the good old days. Listen, I am on the same page. But
I find this ridiculous.
Can you do me one quick question? Can you do me one quick favor? I mean,
one last favor before we wrap up.
Look at go to YouTube.
Okay.
Type in Acolyte, Star Wars Acolyte review, and then just scroll through just some of the thumbnails and titles.
Oh no!
I did this earlier today because I genuinely wanted to hear people's opinion and clicked on 0 videos.
The Acolyte Fallout? What? Was it bad? Oh, fuck you.
You aren't even in the bad ones yet.
No, I'm fucking... I don't see a whole lot of, like... that one's really offensive. That one's offensive. Oh, my God. Is this Twitter or X? God damn.
I believe it's...
Or YouTube or X, I meant to say.
What? What's wrong with X?
More cringe than you could possibly imagine. Get fucked. It's evil. Get fucked.
And again, it's not like it's the best of the Star Wars shows so far. It's really not.
No.
And it could, with a bad twist or some bad follow-up, could be actually bad. Like, genuinely bad. The show could take a turn where at the very last episode I go, this is not good.
This review is 2.5 hours long, and it's titled Utterly Incompetent.
There is not...
And the description of what I can see without clicking on it says, wait, hear me out. What if this show is a thinly veiled allegory about how Disney, the Jedi, took child actors, the Padawan twins, and ... I'm not clicking on read more. Cool. I'm not. Go fuck yourself, whoever you are, that you've got 2.5 hours to fucking devote to something like this. Get a fucking life. Get a hobby.
Do me another favor and click off of YouTube real quick.
Yeah, thanks. I need to get my sanity back. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's the Wild Wild West right now.
Wicked, wow. Sorry, that's a different movie.
It's
a movie.
We should put him in this.
No. Absolutely
I
not.
also agree with that. But
absolutely not.
I agree with you, actually.
Go fuck yourself.
But it's an interesting time.
How do I really want to fucking... Oh, there we go. All right. I can rate 2. I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't want to sign in and create an IMDb account. Who needs an IMDb account? Why is there an IMDb Pro? What are you putting behind a paywall?
This is the section of the podcast where Jeff gets angry at sign-ups.
Why do I
and
need your app? What do I need an IMDb app for? Fuck it. Troy, we're done, right? That's it? Episode 3 comes out tonight. We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
We'll probably be back in a week with that review.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back before a week with that review. We'll see what happens.
We got the boys
coming. And the fucking video game podcast we're doing tonight.
Video game podcast. There's the M. Night Shyamalan's daughter has The Watchers.
The what?
The Watchers? It's the one where they're being watched.
The what? Anyway, that was it for this episode of the TB&J podcast. The Acolyte is not the best Star Wars thing I've ever seen.
And could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. It's actually pretty good.
It could also, in 2-3 episodes,
potential.
It could also, in 2-3 episodes, be really bad. And that wouldn't be the fault of black actresses.
Absolutely not. I specifically called her out and said she's doing an amazing job playing 2 different characters. And I still think she is. I stand by that point.
I actually think everybody's doing a pretty good job. And
I've never really had a complaint with an actor in Star Wars. Not for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to the last one.
The last actor I had like any sort of negative opinion on was Cara Dune before all the shit came out, just because she wasn't an actor first. She was a fighter.
I don't like
her first couple episodes were a little shaky, but then she found out who the character was.
I don't like Benicio del Toro in Last Jedi. I love Benicio del Toro.
Sure.
That's as far as I can think.
Actors are fine. Leave them alone. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast.
The one where we got very angry.
Dude, I don't fucking... We got angry and we liked it. Because we started going online and seeing the people who don't like it. Fuck you, people. It's a good show. Anyway, that's it. That's it. That's it. There's no more. Well, there will be more.
Yeah, we're doing another one immediately after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like video games. If you don't, then...
If you like video games, stick around to the next episode in the podcast
There's
feed.
even more Star Wars in that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
And then we got the Boys podcast on Friday.
Right.
Boys Season 4, motherfucker!
Right.
Did you see the fucking The Boys, like, official Instagram account?
No.
They put on their story a picture of a female model dressed up in her Homelander cosplay that was a little extra thirsty. And they someone called them out on it, and they commented, "Ain't nothing wrong with being thirsty on Maine." And I support it. It's absolutely what would happen in the Boys universe.
Mm-hmm.
Someone on the subreddit called it out, and they were like, I think it's a little inappropriate. And they were like, yeah, this is where you draw the line with the Boys. All right, pal.
I have
a woman showing a little too much leg in an Instagram post.
I have been rewatching that and trying to finish Gen V recently, mostly so D yells at you and not me for not
never
seeing
finishing
Gen V. Yeah, there's a dick explosion in Gen V.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure is. There's a girl who can shrink who's just grabbing onto a dick and riding it.
Yeah, that happens in that show, right?
That happens like the first episode. I think.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I watched that on a plane.
Not long.
On my honeymoon. I remember.
I would,
because I'm sitting there, and my wife leans over in the plane seat next to me, and she's like, what the fuck are you watching? And I'm like, sorry, it's Gen V. It's for the podcast, I promise. And she was like, is that porn? And I was like, no, I promise. It's on Amazon.
And then we never did it for the podcast because some idiot got married and we got busy.
That's it. The end.